All right, let's get into it. Today, we're diving into the hidden world that powers pretty much everything you do online. It's called the application layer, and it's basically the invisible magic that connects the apps you love to the massive network of the internet. I mean, think about it. You click, you tap, you send, and stuff just works, right? But behind that simple action, there's this incredibly sophisticated process going on. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and show you the engine that makes it all possible. You can picture the internet's architecture like a giant skyscraper. We're heading straight to the penthouse suite. This is layer 7, the application layer. And what's wild is that this is the only part of the whole network stack that you directly interact with every single day. Okay, so here's a really important distinction. The application layer isn't the app itself. It's not actually Chrome or your email client. Think of it more like the service layer. It's the set of rules and tools that lets those applications speak the language of the network. It's the bridge that lets your request cross over from your screen into the digital world. So what does this bridge, this layer, actually do? Well, a great way to think about it is as your personal digital ambassador. Its whole job is to take what you want to do and then represent you perfectly to the network, making sure your message gets across clearly, correctly, and most importantly, securely. And you have to appreciate the sheer scope of its work. It's not just shuffling random ones and zeros around. No, it's handling the entire file you're trying to upload. It's translating a human-friendly website name into a numerical IP address the computers can understand. It's wrapping your whole request in a blanket of security. It basically packages your intention with everything it needs to be understood. So, how does it manage all of this? Well, the layer relies on a set of rules, or as they're officially called, protocols. You can just think of these as the specific languages that different apps use to have a structured and, effective conversation over the internet. Let's check out some of the big ones. First up, the absolute bedrock of the web, HTTP. Every single time you load a web page, that's HTTP in action. But you've all seen that little lock icon in your browser, right? Well, that's HTTPS. The S stands for secure, and its adoption was a total game changer. It became absolutely essential as the web grew up from just showing information to handling our money, our private messages, and our identities. That little S is literally what makes online shopping and banking possible. Next up is DNS, the internet's unsung hero. Seriously. Without DNS, you would have to memorize long strings of numbers, these IP addresses, for every single website you want to visit. Can you imagine? Instead, you just type a simple name, and DNS, which is basically the internet's giant phone book, instantly finds the right number. This simple, brilliant idea is a huge reason the web is for everyone, not just engineers with amazing memories. And the list just keeps going. The protocol SMTP, that's the workhorse that sends all your emails. FTP is the classic old-school way of transferring files. And then you have modern tools like WebSockets and APIs, and these are what make the real-time chats and the interconnected app experiences that we totally take for granted now possible. This layer it's bustling with activity. Now, because all this communication is handling our sensitive data, security is just paramount. And this brings us to one of the most critical jobs of the application layer. It is your first and most important line of defense against a whole ton of digital threats out there. And this table just illustrates that connection perfectly. You worried about phishing scams? The application layer handles secure user logins to make sure it's actually you. Concerned about somebody snooping on your data as it travels across the web? That is exactly what HTTPS encryption is there for. It's this constant battle, and this layer is right there on the front lines, protecting your digital life. Okay, so we've gone through the concepts, but let's make this crystal clear. Let's connect these protocols directly to the apps you open on your phone or your computer every single day. This is really where it all comes together. And there it is. Every time you browse the web with Chrome, you are using HTTPS. When you fire off an email from Gmail, that's SMTP doing the work. Syncing your files with Dropbox? Yep, that's often a secure version of FTP running under the hood. Streaming videos, chatting on Slack, collaborating in the cloud, it is all powered by the protocols living in the application layer. It's not some abstract theory. It's the real, practical foundation of your entire digital world. So when you boil it all down, the application layer is where functionality meets trust. It's the handshake between you and the internet. And as our devices get smarter, we're talking AI assistants, billions of connected IoT sensors, they all depend on this layer to communicate. So that leaves us with a pretty big question. As we build this hyper-connected future, How do we keep innovating while making sure this fundamental layer of trust remains secure and completely unbroken? That's a challenge we all have a stake in solved.